Today we're going to be ranking UFC contenders on a tier list, and this isn't how good these contenders are pound for pound, it's how much of a chance do they have to beat the champion. That being said, let's just get right into it. Starting with Caio Barrolho, his chance to beat DDP, I'm going to give him a B tier. I think Caio Barrolho is one of the best in the division. He's not like a clear cut, oh, this guy's definitely going to stomp DDP. That's what A tier, S tier kind of is. I don't think it's a clear win for Caio Barrolho. I think that he can, have some success against DDP in some areas of the game, but over 5 rounds, especially DDP kind of proving, his cardio and his skill level against Sean Strickland just yesterday. I think this would be an actual tough test for Caio Barrolho. I don't know how he would do over 5 rounds. He has great boxing. I think he could piece up DDP in the boxing, but we'd have to wait and see to see that one. I'm not completely confident in that. I think I would have Caio Barrolho as a little bit of the underdog, but he does look really good. He's one of these new waves of middleweights that are coming out where it's like for the first time in forever, like literally since before Adesanya became champion at middleweight, we're having all these guys in middleweight come forward. Nasruddin Imavov, Khamzat Chimaev, Caio Barrolho, this whole wave, Anthony Hernandez, this whole wave of new talent. And I think Caio Barrolho is like leading the pack of one of those guys. I'm going to put him at a B tier. Jack Della Maddalena, bro, fucking C tier. Dude, I don't care, dude. JDM is overrated. People overrate this guy so much. He is not becoming a champion. He might beat Leon Edwards. I haven't come out with my predictions yet. That's an interesting fight. But this dude, like, you'd really think he's going to beat Bilal? I don't think so. I think he's going to get his ass taken down and fucking ground and pounded for 5 rounds, dude. He was getting taken down by Gilbert Burns. If you're getting taken down by a washed Gilbert Burns, bro, like, your chances of becoming UFC champion and beating Bilal Muhammad, it's just low. It's really low. Maybe he beats Leon Edwards, but I think this guy, people are overrating him highly. I don't think he's like the clear, number 1 contender or most dangerous guy in the division. I don't think so at all. He's going in the C tier for me. Joaquin Buckley, he's also a C tier. I don't think he's going to be champion against a wrestler like Bilal Muhammad. I think, Joaquin Buckley, he looked like he had good takedown defense against Colby. That's fucking Colby Covington, not Bilal Muhammad. That's a washed, tiny Colby Covington. Tiny guy for the division. He should be fighting at lightweight. He's not going to be defending takedowns against Bilal like that. The only chance he has to win against Bilal, in my opinion, is just by knockout. Hitting him with a hook and flatlining him. And I just don't think the likelihood of that happening is that great. So he's staying in C tier. But he is a good contender. Like, I genuinely think this guy's actually really good. Moving to welterweight, great decision for him. But I think the wrestling and the cardio part is the thing that he's going to struggle with. Even though he's not really that bad of a wrestler and he's not that bad at cardio, I think Bilal Muhammad would beat him. I don't think it's a close fight. Kamaru Usman is next. I'm going to put Usman. Okay, if we're talking about right now, I'm going to put Usman at B tier because I think he could possibly be one of the only guys to beat Bilal Muhammad in the division. But I think the way it plays out is like by the time Kamaru even gets a fight booked, if he doesn't retire, it's just going to be too late. And he's going to, he has the knee problem. He's getting older in age. He's like 37 or 38, especially at the lower weight class of welterweight. Being that old is hard to compete, and dealing with injuries and stuff, I think is kind of going to plague him for the rest of his career if he keeps on fighting. But if we're just talking about right now, skill level, like how he performed against Khamzat, super impressive. I think that Usman possibly beats Bilal Muhammad because I don't think Bilal is going to have anywhere near the success of his takedowns that he did against Leon Edwards against Kamaru Usman. I don't think that at all. And on the striking, I think Usman beats Bilal's ass. Bilal's striking's not that good. It's just Leon Edwards, got dog shit cardio and can't really handle pressure. But next guy, we got Sean Brady. He's in the D tier. I think he has no threat to Bilal Muhammad. Bilal Muhammad already beat him. He kind of fights like Bilal, where it's like, all he has is really like pressure and control time. He doesn't do much damage. He's kind of small. He doesn't possess anything that's like that would make him champion, in my opinion. I don't think he's as good as people think. He lost his O against Bilal Muhammad. He's not a fan favorite. I don't think he's even going to get a title shot anytime soon. I'm going to put him in the D tier. I don't think he has a clear way of beating Bilal or becoming champion. Garry, I'm going to put in the C tier. Okay, the way I see this fight going is Garry's, obviously going to try to keep it on the feet. And I think Bilal's just going to take this dude down. I really think so. If Shavkat can take you down and can hold you on the ground, Shavkat being one of the most overrated fighters in the UFC right now, in my opinion. Bilal Muhammad's not going to have any issue holding you down and taking you down if Shavkat can do that. And the striking of Ian Garry's not as dangerous as, it seemed like he was before the MVP fight and even the Shavkat fight. The guy's tricky on his feet. He's rangy, but he's not some devastating knockout artist. His striking defense isn't that great. I think it would work though against Bilal Muhammad just because of the size difference. I just don't think he's going to put out Bilal, and I guess like Ian Garry, he's very well rounded. That's something I'll give him. But for him to beat Bilal, he's going to have to stuff majority of the takedowns, stay on the feet, and outpoint him. And I don't think he has the gas tank. I mean, he could possibly have the gas tank, but Bilal's just in your face, dude, pushing you against the fence. Ian Garry kind of fights off the back foot a little bit. He's hesitant to, use the boxing. He's more of a kick from range. I don't think he really beats Bilal, dude. I don't think he has that great of a chance. Carlos Ulberg is a fucking D tier if I've ever seen one. This guy, I think he's going to get fraud checked against. I mean, he's already got fraud checked in his debut. He got put out by Nezichukwu. And I think, Blachowicz is gonna knock out Carlos Ulberg. I think Carlos Ulberg's striking defense is not that good. I think his cardio is not that good. Jan Blachowicz is a tricky motherfucker. And his boxing is great. His leg kicks are great. His power is probably still there. He's got that old man power, dude. That's the thing about light heavyweights. Like, you can be 50 years old. Like Glover Teixeira, I don't know if you guys know, was 65 years old in his title shot against Yuri Prochazka, and he still won. Like, light heavyweight, you can be, a senior citizen and still keep your wits about you. You can keep your power. That's the thing. Power is the last thing to go away. That old man strength. That's what Blachowicz has. And I think he's gonna beat Ulberg in their fight and kind of fraud check him. I won't say fraud check. Like, we kind of know what Carlos Ulberg is. We kind of know his level. I think most people can agree that he's not like this dark horse contender. But his matchup with Pereira, that's what we're ranking him on. I think he has no chance against Pereira, dude. I really don't. I don't think he's going to land anything on Pereira. I don't think he possesses anything that's dangerous for him. He has decent speed. He has good power, but Pereira's fought people with power. And the fact that Carlos Ulberg's cardio is not that good, in my opinion. He reacts a lot to feints. He's a very twitchy guy that reacts a lot. That's a recipe for Pereira to just win. Like, Pereira can literally just kind of fight how he did against Roundtree. Not engage too much in the beginning because it's dangerous. Make Ulberg tired, throw some feints, throw some leg kicks. And I think he would easily just dismantle Ulberg technically. Like, he doesn't even need to land like a knockout punch early in the fight. He could just do like a Roundtree type fight, and play it out a little bit and get him tired. Because Pereira's cardio, especially in the striking, is like world class. So Ulberg's a D for me. I don't think he has any chance against Pereira. Okay, Anthony Hernandez, I'm gonna put in a C tier. The only reason I say this is I don't think his wrestling's as dangerous as Khamzat, and his striking I don't think is any issue for DDP. I don't think his cardio is any issue for DDP, and Khamzat, I'm debating even if he's going to win against DDP. And if Anthony Hernandez's best thing is his grappling, and it's not as good as Khamzat, in my opinion, then he's not going to be anywhere near a B, A, or S against DDP. But Nasruddin Imavov, I'm going to put him, dude, I'm going to put him in the B tier, especially after that Adesanya performance. He's big. I didn't know he was that big. He's well-rounded. He has great boxing. I think this dude, like against DDP, I don't know. I think he could tag DDP. I think still, Nasruddin, I don't know how, his matchup against DDP is different against a guy like Khamzat Chimaev. I think Nasruddin would be a huge problem for Khamzat Chimaev. But for DDP, I think the style's a little bit different because the striking discrepancy isn't as big, I think, against a guy like Khamzat. And I don't think he can hold DDP down. I don't think he would knock DDP out. DDP has a great chin. DDP's kind of just like, I think he's going to keep the pace too. I think he's going to keep Nasruddin on the back foot. If Strickland, and also I'm going to do a little bit of MMA math here. If Strickland can beat you on short notice, I think DDP's going to, solidly, clearly beat Nasruddin Imavov. I know Nasruddin's improved since that fight, but I'm going to lean towards Circus 2+C. Diego Lopes is next. Dude, C tier, to be honest. Like, against a guy like Topuria, he's not going to take Topuria down. He's not going to outstrike Topuria. I know people like, he has knockout power. He's big for the division. He's not going to knock out Topuria. I'm just going to tell you that right now. The way Diego Lopes gets knockdowns, he looks like a honey badger when he gets in the close exchanges. He gets in there and he just throws like crazy. There's no technicality there in my opinion. He just goes, throws these really tight punches in the clinch and stuff. That's not going to work against Topuria. It's not. And he's not going to take down Topuria. His wrestling is not good enough to take a guy like Topuria down. He's not going to submit Topuria. He's not going to go that far. I think Topuria's just going to close the distance, just like he did Holloway. He's more technical, more defensively sound. He's going to land a knockout shot and put Diego Lopes out. Also, the cardio Diego Lopes, if he even makes it out of the second round after, having to avoid the shots of Topuria, eat the body shots because he's the taller guy, he's going to be huffing and puffing, dude. Like, Diego Lopes is not a cardio machine at all. I think he has a lot of issues against a guy like Topuria. Kai Kara-France is next. I'm going to put him at the B tier. Because of the knockout power this guy has, I think, Pantoja has a hell of a chin, but if there's anybody to beat him, it's Kai Kara-France. The takedown defense of Kai Kara-France is there. The way he did Urseg, I think this guy, he's definitely the biggest, problem for Pantoja. Do I think he beats him? Probably not. The flyweight division in itself is not that stacked. I think he fares the best chance against Pantoja. Charles Oliveira is next. Sorry, man. He's D tier for me. This isn't how good the fighter is. I'm not ranking these guys just of how good they are. I'm ranking them on their chance against the champion. Okay, keep that in mind before I say this. Charles Oliveira has no fucking chance against Islam Makhachev. He doesn't. Yeah, he's a great fighter. He's pound for pound, up there. I think he's pound for pound 20, top 20. He's not going to beat Islam Makhachev. He does not have a chance, a shot in the dark against Islam Makhachev. There's no way he beats Islam Makhachev, especially after that first fight. No, dude. He's not going to beat him in the striking. He's not going to beat him on the ground. Charles Oliveira, this is modern day UFC. People cannot get chokes off of their back in high level MMA. It's not how it works anymore. You're not seeing guys getting triangles off their back. The wrestling and control and jiu-jitsu of these top-level fighters, especially against a guy like Makhachev, you're just not getting a choke off the back, dude. It's just not. Like, this isn't the 90s, bro. This isn't UFC 1. Okay, we're past that. I'm over it. Arman Tsarukyan, I'm gonna put at a B tier. I don't think he has a chance against Islam Makhachev. I think he's worse than Islam Makhachev in every aspect. Slightly worse, though. So the fight can be close, but I just don't think he has a way or something about him that's better than Islam Makhachev in any aspect. So I think he's always doomed to just be in the position where he's losing close fight after close fight. That's not to say that he's going to get dominated, but he's just never going to win a decision. And I don't think he gets a knockout or anything like that. I don't think he's that powerful. Islam Makhachev is one of the most defensively sound fighters in the UFC. So I just don't see it happening. Umar, I'm going to put at an A. Even after that performance against Merab, I'm talking about his chance against Merab, still, I would put at A tier. I think we forget how close that fight was. That was a 3-2 fight, in my opinion. And if Umar changed his game plan, I think that he could get a win. I think he could. Just think about it. If he just put all his effort into, the first 3 rounds and just forget about the 2 rounds. Just think about the first 3 rounds. Kind of if O'Malley did this too, just go all out the first 3 rounds. Don't try to conserve your energy and then just coast the rest too. He can have his cardio in the last 2 rounds. You can be dead tired. He's not going to finish you. This guy's not a finisher. Don't be scared of gassing out against a guy like Merab. You give it your all in the first 3 rounds. I think that's the strat to beat Merab. I think it is. You go all out against him. You outstrike him because he's not that good of a striker in the first 3 rounds. If you don't put him out, you won the first 3 rounds. Let him take you down. Let him camp in full guard and just hold him there and catch your breath. I think that's the strat to beat him. I think if Umar just gave it his all in the first 2 rounds, was a little more crisp in the striking, I think he would possibly beat Merab by decision. Petr Yan's next. I'm going to put Petr Yan at B. Petr Yan has all the skill in the world to beat Merab. He just doesn't have the physicality. He's not going to put out Merab. He doesn't have the striking to, respect, to get Merab's respect. Merab's going to walk him down. And good luck to Petr Yan striking off the back foot. Petr Yan's one of my favorite fighters. He's one of the most skilled fighters of all time. But the size is just he's too small. This isn't like Umar or O'Malley who have the range on him, who can knock him out. I don't think, Petr Yan's going to knock him out. But what I will say, an excuse for Petr Yan, is he had an injury during that fight, and he was defending the majority of Merab's takedowns. I just don't think defending the takedowns is enough to beat Merab. I think you got to defend the takedowns, and you got to keep energy to actually outpoint him. Because even if you're defending takedowns, that's still control on his side. He's backing you up. He's grabbing onto you. You can't just defend takedowns and beat Merab. You have to outland him. You have to keep up the pace with him, or you have to put him out. And I don't think, Petr Yan really is going to do that. I'm going to put Shavkat. I'm going to put him in the B tier. I was so close to putting him in C tier, but the thing about Shavkat, I think, is his power and durability. That's the only thing that gives him a chance against Belal. I think Belal still is going to win. I think he's going to take down Shavkat. Shavkat has that style where he's pretty upright. He's decent at defending takedowns, but what's he going to do against Belal? He has to strike Belal. I don't think he beats him in the wrestling. Maybe clinch Belal, but dude, Shavkat's not as good and skilled as a lot of people say he is. And I don't think he's just going to go out there and starch Belal. But the way I do see him winning is if he outlands Belal. He's a rangier guy. He's much taller, much longer. If he uses his jab, he defends takedowns, he could win. But I just think that the wrestling of Belal Muhammad is too much for Shavkat. If the wrestling of Ian Garry is too much for Shavkat, I think the wrestling of Belal is going to be too much for Shavkat. On to Volkanovski. Volkanovski, he's in the C tier. He's going to get starched against Topuria. He just is. Sorry. The only thing I will give him is if somehow he turns into some Dagestani D1 wrestler, maybe he has a chance. I think he's stronger than Topuria. I think he might have a little bit edge in wrestling and jiu-jitsu, but not by much. You know what? Fuck that. I'm putting him in the D tier. I'm just going to say it. Volkanovski, he's getting old. His chin cannot be the same after 2 knockout losses. He's had a year layoff. I don't think that's going to help him. I don't think a longer layoff for a guy Volkanovski's age is going to help him in any way, other than possibly recover his chin. But the chin isn't what he has to worry about. If you get caught with a punch like that against Topuria, no matter what the fuck, how good your chin is, we've just seen it. Max Holloway, one of the best chins ever, got chinned by Topuria. His chin doesn't matter. It's avoiding the actual shot and winning, outstriking Topuria. I don't think he's going to out-wrestle Topuria. And there's no way he outstrikes Topuria either. The only thing that he had successful was the jab and the low kick. And I don't think he's going to jab and low kick for 5 rounds without getting caught and cornered into a fence. I just don't see it. He'd have to come out there fresh as a daisy, bouncing back and forth like the old school Volk, keeping his crazy cardio on him. I just don't think he can do that for 5 rounds without getting caught by Topuria. Sean O'Malley's next. Sean O'Malley's going in the B. You know what? No, he's going in the C tier. I just don't think O'Malley. You know what? I'm going to put him in B tier, even though there's a million people in B tier. He has a decent chance. I said he. I think he could knock out Merab. I think the chance is low. I think he does the same strategy as Umar, and you just go all out the first 3 rounds, and you just chill the rest too. Because what is Merab going to do? He has 0 finishing ability. Just gas yourself out, give it your all in the first 3 rounds, and then just let him camp in full guard for the next 2 and win the fight 3-2. As long as you don't get robbed by the judges, you should win the fight. That's easier said than done though, especially with a guy like O'Malley. O'Malley has only one way to beat Merab, and it's to outstrike him without getting taken down. And the second time around, if they do a rematch between Merab and O'Malley, I think Merab's just going to respect O'Malley striking even less, pressure him even more. And O'Malley landing a strike off the back foot is pretty hard for him to do. Even though he did against Aljo, I think that was a rare occasion. And I think Merab actually is honestly more defensively sound on the feet than Aljo, which is crazy to say because he fights like an idiot. But yeah. Okay, Movsar. I'm going to put Movsar in the C tier. Listen, dude. Same thing as Diego Lopes. The only thing he could do is hold down Topuria, and I just don't think he's going to do that. Topuria is such a hard guy to take down. He fights so low to the ground. He has such a bladed stance, and his center of gravity is so low. He's also very short. A takedown is not going to be easy for Movsar, and holding him down is not going to be easy. And then trying to close the distance on a guy like Topuria with devastating knockout power, it's just not going to happen, dude. He was struggling on the feet with Aljamain Sterling. If you're struggling on the feet with Aljamain Sterling, you're not going to be Topuria on the feet. You're just not, dude. Aljamain Sterling is one of the goofiest strikers on the feet that I've ever seen in my entire life. If you're having issues with that, you're going to get fucked up by Topuria. You just are. And your takedowns are not going to win you the fight over 5 rounds. Sorry, but it's just not going to happen. Tom Aspinall's an S tier if I've ever seen one in my entire life. I'm considering him a contender because he's not undisputed champ, even if he's interim champ. I think he would fucking flatline John Jones. Argue with me in the comments all you want. Aspinall's going to flatline John Jones if they fight, but John Jones is terrified. That fight's not going to happen. because Tom Aspinall would ruin his legacy, and there's no point for Jon Jones to take the fight. He's already considered the GOAT. Tom Aspinall would just obliterate Jones, who's getting tagged by a 42-year-old Stipe Miocic, and Jon Jones ain't taking down Tom Aspinall anywhere near in the early rounds of the fight. He's just not. If you can't finish Stipe on the ground, good luck even taking down Tom Aspinall, who's twice the size of Stipe, and holding him there and doing damage. Tom Aspinall grew up doing BJJ. His dad's a black belt. His dad quit his job literally to coach his son to be one of the best MMA fighters in the world. And he's 6'5", 250. Like, bro, Jones is not as big as Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is a big dude. The wrestling is the strength advantage. Nothing. Jon Jones has the card stacked against him. He's older. Yeah, man. Tom Aspinall, that fight's not going to happen, and for good reason for Jon Jones. Ankalaev's next. Ankalaev is a C tier. Overrated as fuck. People can argue all they want. That just shows how bad the light heavyweight division is. What does Ankalaev have that he can use against Pereira and win? He's not going to take down Pereira for 5 rounds. What he's going to do, lay on him for 5 rounds? Because Ankalaev's never finished anybody in his life, and I don't think that's going to start with Pereira. Pereira is, honestly, an extremely hard guy to finish on the ground because he's literally has caveman strength, and he just holds you onto him for the entire round. He's the most defensive grappler. Yeah, it'll throw away the round, but that's not going to happen 5 times. I don't think it's going to happen for 5 different rounds. Good luck closing the distance against Pereira and trying to clinch him or that's what I think Ankalaev's going to do. He's going to try to strike with Pereira, but I think there's going to be times where he tries to clinch. We know that clinching against Pereira is just not a good move. Adesanya proved that. Trying to clinch with Pereira, he ate a fucking clean left hook to the jaw. And Ankalaev's not going to outstrike Pereira. He's just not. Like, get it through your heads, dude. This guy's a glory kickboxing champion. I get it. It's MMA. It's not kickboxing, but still, kickboxing transitions almost perfectly to MMA. From what we've seen, Ankalaev, who has mid-level striking, is not going to put out Alex Pereira. He's just not. All he has is boxing. He's going to get his leg chewed up. And even if he makes the improvement to check the leg kicks, if he's focused on those leg kicks too much, then there's a problem upstairs for him. So he's in the C tier for me. I'm not stressing about this fight. I think Pereira's going to flatline him. And then I think Pereira either, he has a super fight regardless. Either DDP if he beats Khamzat, or Tom Aspinall if the Jones fight doesn't happen. Next, we got Khamzat Chimaev. I'm going to put him at S tier. Do I think he's going to win against DDP? Probably. Do I think it's going to be closer after seeing the Strickland fight? Yes, I do, because we've seen Khamzat struggle before, and DDP is going to be the biggest, strongest guy he's ever fought in his life, and the most durable guy he's fought in his life. Getting a first-round finish is going to be tough. What happens if he doesn't get that first-round finish, and if it gets into the deep waters? I'm curious to see how Khamzat handles that. That's why but he's still an S tier because of the wrestling, and I think he could possibly get a choke on DDP. Just because of how technical this guy is. That's my list, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Who's the best contender in the UFC right now? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys like this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.